Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new reaction for AGT All Stars. This is episode 2. We had a lot of notable acts in this episode. We had another golden buzzer, but we also have Divyaj and Manuraj, who, neither one of us were familiar with going into this episode, and I think we were both just like utterly like blown away by it.
Completely blown away. They are an act that I have never seen. Their whole story of where they both went to auditions and both of their partners just didn't show up. And
Yeah.
they were like, hey, why don't we partner up? And then they won the whole show. I mean, they're so talented. It was just, I have never, ever seen anything like them, which is what gets me really excited about this show. It kind of reminds me of Champions and Marcelito. I have never before or never since seen anybody like him.
We're going to talk, of course, about that and also talk a little bit about how upset and disappointed I am in the super fans. Yet here's the recurring theme. It is AGT All Stars Let's Get Mad of the Super Fans editions. This is the second week in a row. Before we go further, though, go ahead, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our other reactions to AGT All Stars moving forward.
Also, follow us over on Instagram at Matt and Just TV. And if you're watching The Last of Us, that is coming up on Sunday. We're going to be covering that here at the channel. And we have our first Criminal Minds coming up on Thursday for this year. So be sure to check that out too.
Okay, we'll get into the results, but let's just start big picture here with Divyaj and Manuraj, because just like from the start, you mentioned the story. You know what this reminded me of when they were sort of explaining all of this about how they randomly, got together at the audition? It felt like one of those like rom-coms you see on like the Hallmark Channel, where it is just like the most unwieldy premise for like two people getting together, and you would never think it would ever happen. It's like, okay, come on, guys, I don't believe any of this, but it actually happened here.
Yeah, and a beatboxer and a flutist.
Yeah.
I mean, I never would have put these two together. Simon Cowell even said sort of what I was thinking, where it's like the music industry is a really difficult place in general. There's
Yeah.
a million singers, tons of musicians. Like, you have to have something that really stands out, and not in a way where it's kind of gimmicky and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you got a beatboxer and a flutist. Okay, that's the gimmick. It is not like that. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, okay, is it a gimmick or is it going to be amazing? And it turned out to be completely amazing. I never would have paired this. And I think they probably never would have paired this either, that it was sort of a situation where it's kind of like, okay, my partner didn't show up, your partner didn't show up. We both really practiced for this show. Let's see if we can make something work together. And it was just pure magic, a 10 out of 10. How are they not going through? And I'm not trying to, take away anything from Aiden Bryant. Like, he's great, and he's good to go through. He is the person who's going through, but I want to see acts that I've never seen before like them, where it's just like I am amazed by them.
They are amazing, incredible, just like so original. I would have never thought this would work by any measure either, but it's just the vibe of it is really, really cool. The way they're sort of like manipulating around genres. They can do music that's more traditional, they can do music that's a little bit more current, they can make both of them work.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I think they did really well, is they picked really good song choices. They picked stuff that everybody knows, that's really popular, that helped really connect even better.
Let's have a little bit of a talk here about beatboxing in general, because I feel like this is one of those things where everyone thinks they can beatbox. Like, check this out, everybody.
Oh
See,
no,
that's
guys, please don't
that.
unsubscribe. Hit that
Okay,
subscribe button.
that is evidence that not everyone can beatbox.
It's hard.
I am not good. They are outstanding both at beatboxing and playing the flute. I was in band when I was in like middle school and high school. Let me tell you, I tried to play the flute once. I'm a saxophonist by trade. flute is really, really hard. It is uncomfortable. It is just a weird instrument to play.
Yeah, we gotta talk about these super fans because I just
Yeah,
don't understand how they didn't go through. And again, I'm not taking away anything from Aiden, but we do already have another danger act, another balancing sort of acrobatic act with the Bello sisters that went through by the super fans, and now Aiden has gone through with the super fans, sort of in that same genre of danger acts. And I find myself in this weird position because I'm just like, I love danger hacks.
yeah.
For all the times that we've been doing these videos and all the times I've been watching this show, danger acts are typically my number one. I love them. So it's really weird this season that so far the superfans have put through two danger acts. And the first one with the Bella sisters, I was kind of like, over Terry Fader? I don't even
Yeah.
like ventriloquist, but over Terry Fader, he's a legend. And now we're in this situation where it's like Aiden is very good, but is he better? No, not to me. I mean, we've never seen anything like a beatboxer and a flutist together. Come on, like I just want to see more of them.
Here is my take on the super fans right now. Okay, see, here's the thing. Aiden was probably, I'm not going to dump on Aiden entirely. He was probably, in my mind, like the third or fourth best person on this show. It's just that I thought, and I think that if we were going to put through an aerial act, I think Alan was better. And I know that it's different episode, all that other stuff, but I think Alan to me is more emotional. I connected more to him. I know both of them really risk their lives doing it, but it's just sort of like if I am walking into Las Vegas and I'm sort of looking at three different paths. There is Path Alan Silva, Path Bella Sisters, Path Aiden Bryant. I'm going down the Alan Silva path any day of the week, and that is sort of the irony that like he is the one danger act that's not going through at this point.
Yeah, it's really surprising that out of these three acts that he is the one that isn't going through. But so far this season hasn't been nice to the beatboxers because Barry Wham didn't go through
Yeah.
last week either, and they are like wildly popular.
Who knew? You know, I certainly didn't think I would be in these videos just like trying to white knight all the beatboxing acts
I
because
know.
I've never been a big beatboxing fan. But let's talk a little bit about the golden buzzer here because
Mhm.
this is where I think a lot of commenters are going to start typing out, really strongly worded things at me in just a second because I have a really interesting take on this.
Leave it in the comments below
See,
at Matt.
I I personally feel like Detroit Youth Choir was the second best act of the night, behind Divyaj and Manuraj. Like, I think they were really good. Their harmonies were great, the energy, like all of that stuff. But I feel like they need to figure out a way to make it so that if Terry already used his golden buzzer on them previously, he shouldn't be able to do it again. It's just the whole episode from the moment there was like promos ahead of time showing Terry was giving his golden buzzer, and we knew from the photos Detroit Youth Choir was in this episode.
Mhm.
I never spent a single second in this episode thinking that golden buzzer was going anywhere else, and it just like that gets rid of a lot of the drama and suspense. I would have loved Detroit Youth Choir to get a golden buzzer. Just give it to them from somebody else.
Yeah, I feel almost like I wonder if there's pressure on Terry because he already used the golden buzzer on them, that it would almost feel like this time around he'd be almost taking it away to give it to somebody else because he's already given it to them. He's already said, you are worth the golden buzzer. You are incredible. They are
Yeah.
incredible. There's like no doubt about it. And I think they would have went through anyways. It's just, is there a pressure then from Terry to be like, well, I already gave it to them, man, should I give it to someone else? Are they going to feel insulted? I just feel like there's a lot of things that are kind of going on. I don't think they would feel insulted or weird about it, but it's got to be difficult for Terry to take that and give it to somebody else when he already gave it. I think they need to take out the people when it's Terry's time. Anyone he's given a golden buzzer to has to go into another group of people, maybe Howie's group or Heidi's, somebody else, so that they can have an opportunity to give them a golden buzzer. I think the show just really wants to have these moments where it's like, oh man, these guys have gotten the golden buzzer twice. Ah!
I'm gonna grab my fishing line here, my rod, because I'm about to cast out a really bold prediction
Oh,
here.
here we go.
Here, I'm reeling it in. This is a giant, oh, it's a giant check that they're giving Detroit Youth Choir when they win the season. Detroit Youth Choir is going to win AGT All-Stars. I'm saying it right now. They came close the first time.
Yeah, they did.
This show has had choirs make it really far, but
Mhm.
choirs winning is not really a thing that happens all that much. And because the fans can't vote, well, I guess the actual voting fans, as opposed to the super fans,
Secret super fans, which is probably just the audience.
hot dog vendor Bob, who just got like pulled in. Hey, have you seen AGT before? Sure. But no, I think they're going to win this season. And yes, I'm saying that 2 episodes in without having seen anybody else.
Absolutely.
I guess the other take is just I don't think that this episode was as good overall as the first episode. I felt like in the first episode there was like 5 or 6 people you could have sort of justified moving on to the next round.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent in this group. There's no denying it. I mean, they're all here for a reason, but the first group, I mean, they had legends like Terry Fader in that group. They had Alan Silva in that group. They had Barry Wham in that
Yeah.
group, who is worldwide, tens of millions of fans on TikTok and Instagram. They sell at arenas. It was a very packed first show.
I will also say it's interesting that, they had Dustin Tavella in this show, another winner of AGT.
Mhm.
Also, like Terry didn't really have that much of a chance seemingly to advance. Like, for me personally, Dustin's not my favorite magician in the world. Like, I like magicians that are more fun and silly, and he's trying to like get me all up in my feelings while I'm trying to watch the magic act. I just want to see something ridiculous and stupid or really fun and awe-inspiring. I don't want to focus on the other stuff.
Yeah, I have a harder time with magicians where there's some sort of a story like that, something where they're trying to reach into my emotions. I'm here to be wowed and mystified, and
Yeah.
that's more of what I want the focus to be for me when I'm watching a magic act. The story sometimes takes a little bit away from watching what the magic is because I'm getting more invested in the story and I'm not watching the show for a story. I do enjoy the stories, like we said, oh, I lost my partner, you lost your partner, let's partner
Yeah.
up. It's like, okay, and the emotional stories are important to hear, but they're not the reason that I'm here for the act. So it doesn't necessarily need to be put into the act.
Yeah, I'm reasonably okay with what happened, other than the obvious Divyaj and Manuraj just complete snub. Like, we don't know what the finale is going to be like or how it's going to work. Like, maybe there's a wild card act that gets chosen, and at that point, if you guys don't do this, you see this face?
All
Do
right.
you want to disappoint this face? Don't do it.
I would just say that out of the acts that were in the top 3 tonight,
Yeah.
those 3 made the most sense to be in the top 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't have any issue with the super fan sort of choosing between these 3 acts.
Like Victoria Bueno, really, I think, moving. I mean, obviously, very, very inspiring sort of act. We don't see a lot of just traditional ballerinas, like, in general on this. Like, I was watching that performance being like, I'm no ballerina expert by any means. That's probably a surprise to everyone out there. But there's at least a couple of, like, signature ballerina moves that I'm familiar with. I was like, oh, she's doing the moves. Like, she's really carrying this through.
No, it was a beautiful performance. It was filled with emotion and just talent. Like, there was no surprise to me that she was in the top 3. I mean, she's incredibly talented and she made great choices with her choreography, with her song choice. I mean, the whole thing was just, it was so moving.
It's a really good top 3. You guys just made the wrong choice. But anyway, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We will be back to discuss AGT All-Stars next week and whatever the super fans have wrong then. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you here next time.